So those are the two main things that I would say come to mind. Most guys who have both of those departments covered are usually pretty confident.
Well, I don't know. I've met some pretty confident guys that didn't have, the package down there that, would be quite what women would look for, I guess.
Those guys drive Corvettes.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Audaciously Me podcast. I am your host, Ashley D. I am back with another segment of the Brothers Unleashed with another amazing guest, Quincy Shelton, aka Q from the Talk to Q radio show. Q, go ahead and introduce yourself.
How's it going, everyone? Well, I'm not sure what to say. My name is Quincy. I am the host of the Talk to Q radio show. No experts, just opinions. And I'm reside in Jackson, Mississippi. I've been doing my show since 2011.
Yes, and y'all, he helped me get my feet wet in this podcasting world. I enjoy his shows. I enjoy listening to all of his guests. I enjoy being a part of your show. So with that being said, we are here to discuss the struggles of body image with men and polygamy. Before we jump into this conversation, if you missed any episodes that we have recorded previously with the Herd segment or the Brothers Unleashed segment, or just any episodes, period, with myself and other guests, you can find all of that in the description link below. Now, before we jump into it, I would like to go ahead and send you guys off to this small promo, and we will be right back.
Yo, 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 yo. What's up, world? It's your boy, your main man of the hour, Mr. Hear Me Out himself. And you already know, I'm back here with the shits. Hear me out. I know, you're wondering. Let me tell you. So Hear Me Out is a weekly, various topic podcast where we talk about mental health, love, relationships, fuck boys, fuck girls, and the do's and don'ts in adulting. You can catch that at all streaming services like Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, Amazon Music, wherever you catch your favorite artists at, you can catch me at. And make sure you follow me on the socials at This Is Hear Me Out on Instagram and Twitter. All right, y'all. Make sure you share, you rate, and you subscribe. And hear me out every week.
And you can catch Marco next week, October 12th on Brothers Unleashed. All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Q. So I've noticed a lot with men. Well, I can't say that I've noticed. Some people that I know have noticed that men also struggle with body image. I never knew that to be a thing because when I see men, I mostly see a lot of confidence. They hide it really well if they do struggle with body image. I've never ran into one personally that just out loud, like women would say, oh, I hate my body, or I think I'm too this, or I think I'm too that. I've never heard a man say that. So what are some main struggles with body image that men mostly deal with?
Well, when it comes to most men, I would say most guys struggle with two things. And one of the problems that they may struggle with is kind of external. The other one's kind of internal. You don't always know. The main thing they struggle with for a lot of guys who have issues would be their height. There are a lot of guys who are really sensitive about their height because if you're under 6 feet, then to a lot of women, you're kind of off limits. So there's some concerns there. And I mean, yeah, some of the more superficial things like your hairline or your weight, I mean, that's important too. But height, and then the other one, which you don't always know up front, as far as women are concerned, is penis size. Because there are a lot of guys that are very conscientious about that, as far as will it be enough for her? So those are the two main things that I would say come to mind. Most guys who have both of those departments covered are usually pretty confident.
Well, I don't know. I've met some pretty confident guys that didn't have, the package down there that, would be quite what women would look for, I guess.
Those guys drive Corvettes. But well, I'm not saying that's always the case because, I mean, confidence is a state of mind. So there are a lot of people who may not be the ideal type as far as going on a magazine cover, but they still do their share of getting women because of the confidence that they project.
Okay, well, I guess that's what it is then, because I've never really heard anybody say, I've heard one person say that they were self-conscious about one of the things that you mentioned, but that's something that I rarely hear. So I didn't really think that body image was a thing for men. It's like just going on Google and reading about some of it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it is because, and it's something like, as far as height is concerned, I'm not a tall guy. Okay. I'm 5'6". Okay. Vertically challenged, if you want to call it that. All right. But I never considered myself short until social media, because when I was growing up, a couple of my best friends, one was 6'2", the other was 6'3". We all hung out. I never viewed us any differently. But social media runs around. All of a sudden I start seeing the memes and people cracking jokes. I had a friend lady of mine who posted something that says, what do you call a guy under 6 feet? Quote, a friend. All right. So that's when I started to realize, like, all right, so it really is a big deal, to a lot of people. And so I think social media really kind of perpetuates some of the image issues that guys may have. But because we internalize so much and we don't speak out and show vulnerabilities and talk about what's wrong with us, and a lot of times it gets suppressed, but it's there for a lot of people more than you know.
I see now. I didn't know. I'm not going to lie. I used to be one of those people that would post stuff about, short guys, but I've dated short guys. So it wasn't like I disliked them. I guess I just thought the post was funny. I don't do it now. But it's like, I don't know. Maybe I just thought the post was funny, but some people it may not be funny to. I know that now as I've grown into a more mature woman. Yeah. So I don't really share stuff like that. But I didn't know that it really hit home for some men, because y'all can mask things so well.
That's true. There's some guys you'll never know that it's bothering them. And I mean, they internalize it, and it's sad that, because I really don't think people should care what people think about them, because there's someone for everyone. Right. So if this person doesn't want anyone under 6 feet, okay, that's fine. That's your preference. Everyone's allowed to have a preference. But I just wish people would understand that and not really internalize that type of stuff, because you can't control, your genetics.
Right. Exactly. You know what? That's a good way to put that, because I used to get made fun of for dating guys that were shorter than me, because I've always been tall. And I never knew exactly how to explain it. But I don't have that problem now, so it seems like everybody's grown taller than me. But anyway.
Good for you.
What are some tips that you can give men that struggle with body image to overcome them, or either, boost their confidence pretty much? And
well, in order to boost your confidence, I'm a huge sports fan, so I kind of like give a bunch of sports analogies and things of that nature, but kind of like baseball. Okay, you're going to keep striking out until you get a hit. So, but you got to keep swinging until you get that hit. So I think that building confidence is kind of like a law of numbers. You got to play the odds, so to speak. You may have to talk to 20 women before you get a phone number, but it only takes one. That's all you need. So whether it's your number is, the second woman you approach or the 102nd woman you approach, the goal is to get one. And I think that's how guys have to approach it. Just, keep chopping wood, keep going at it. And there's going to be someone for you. There's going to be someone who appreciates you for you. And I guess one way to kind of help that along, find out what you're good at and give it, okay? If you're a funny person, then, work on being funnier, use your gift. If you're a guy who maybe you don't have the best physical body or whatever, then come with an intelligent approach. Okay, show that you're someone who knows what's going on in the world and provide that security that someone may be looking for. I mean, there are many ways. It's about finding your gift and putting it out there in the forefront and letting people be appreciative of that.
Okay, so I got this question right here. Do men take rejection better than women do?
Okay. To answer the question, I'm going to say no. All right. I don't think that men handle rejection better than women because don't get me wrong, women may not be used to being rejected. Okay. So, but in the rare cases that they are, I think that because it seems like it's always men trying to get women more so than women trying to get men, there are going to be more opportunities for women as opposed to guys who are supposed to be the chasers. So if we're doing the ones that's chasing, then it may seem a little bit more awkward because regardless of how many times a man gets shot down, it doesn't always feel the same. Okay. So whether you're that sixth grade kid walking across the gym floor to go ask a girl to dance and she says no, or you're a guy who's 28 years old approaching a woman in a bar and she says no, it still feels differently. And I think because it may happen to us more than women, it doesn't make it any easier.
Okay. See, I really don't even know how I would really take rejection because if I'm asking a question, it's about a job or something like that. So that's a little bit different. I can't recall a time that I've been rejected to even, counter off what you just said. You're
saying you don't get rejected?
I haven't put myself in really a position to get rejected. Put it that way. I let all, like, dealing with relationships, I let them come to me.
Okay.
And I either play hard to get or, I'm just like, okay, I've been waiting, But other than that, I can't really say I put myself in a position to get rejected. So I don't know how it feels.
I mean, there may be some people that, think differently than I do. And they think that women may take it harder because it may not happen to them as often. But guys aren't as bulletproof as we lead on to be. We have our issues and things that we're not able to necessarily to project outward, but it still bothers us.
That's why I had to ask because I've never really been in that situation. But if I do get rejected in that way, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, I'm going to have to let you know. I'm going to have to let you know how I felt about it. But, you almost answered one of my next questions. So I'll go ahead and ask it. This question, you guys, you have probably heard over and over previously. You're going to continue to hear it throughout this because I want to see what different men have to say about it. So, do you feel that society plays a part in men bottling up their true emotions so that they won't express themselves or have the feeling of coming off as weak if they do?
Absolutely. I recorded a podcast today with a mental health specialist discussing just that. There was an incident yesterday, September 10th, in the sports world where a sports analyst criticized a quarterback because he expressed that he was depressed after the suicide of his brother. And the analyst said that he was wrong to publicly express his depression because it shows a sign of weakness that his teammates may not appreciate, which means he's not a leader because he's showing a sign of weakness. That's what this guy said. And I think he was completely off base with his commentary because as a man, because society, guys like him who say things like that, it makes it hard for guys to express themselves because they don't want to be ridiculed or criticized or called anything less than a man. And sometimes you get that from your peers, from other guys. Sometimes you get that from women. You have women that call you a punk, if you show any signs of being upset. And so we hold in a lot. And that's the reason why the suicide rate for men is much higher than women, because you get to the point to where people snap and bad things happen, unfortunately. And so I think that if guys were allowed to express themselves and show that they do have feelings that need to be, paid attention to sometimes, it could really guy. He's a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, which is a very prominent team, and that's a leadership position. For him to come out and say that, there's no telling how many guys it helped. There are a lot of guys who might have said, you know what, if this guy, the quarterback of an NFL team, is going through some stuff, and he can talk about it, then I know I can talk about it, right. Because I know he ain't no punk. So I know I can talk about it. And that's really needed more so, especially in the Black community, because, man, don't get me wrong, I'm all for being mentally tough, but Black people be doing the most. We sometimes we kick people when they're down, and we have no idea how bad we're making it, how much worse we're making it for them. So we do have a problem with that as far as expressing ourselves and showing that side of us. But we have to understand that being vulnerable is not being weak. Being able to speak about your vulnerability actually makes you stronger.
Right. So one last question within this area. Do you feel as though the saying growing up as a child, when little boys fell and scraped their knee or fell off their bike or whatever, or if they broke their arm and before really knowing that it was broken, they were told, get up, you ain't dead, you all right. Do you feel like that plays a part in why they also hide their emotions?
Unfortunately, it does. I grew up that way. I came from the generation where if you fail and hurt yourself, they say rub some dirt on it and get up and go back and play. And again, like I said, I can appreciate mental toughness, but I think things are a case-by-case basis. You have to evaluate situations before you say things like that. It may call for a kid, he may be crying because he's frustrated about whatever's going on. If he's playing a game and he's losing and he happens to trip and fall while playing the game, then you may think that he's hurt, but he's really just hurt because he's not playing well. You have to evaluate the situation and at that point approach it. But no, to say, get up, you're not hurt, or it's not bleeding, you're just fine, every single time something happens is bad. It really is.
All right. Well, so moving on to the good part.
That wasn't the good part?
That was definitely the good part, but the juicy stuff, that's what I'm going to say. Moving on to the juicy stuff.
Okay.
But that was really good. I like that. It opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. So, men and polygamy. How do you feel most men feel about it?
Most men are going to say they're all for it because there are a lot of men who probably have multiple people out here now. They just don't say it publicly.
Right.
Most men are all for it, but the average guy probably wants no part of it. Okay. It's one thing to think that you can handle one woman, but to handle multiple women, that takes a special type of character. Okay. A lot of guys feel like they're too much for one woman, but they find out they're not enough for two. And so I don't think the average guy really wants that. Now, by polygamy, you're talking about two wives or multiple wives. And
right.
I don't know. You have some people who may be cool with an open relationship where that like legal commitment may not be involved or something. But as far as polygamy, it sounds good on the surface. A lot of salaries coming into the household, so a lot of income, and maybe one person who can be a homemaker, the other one can work. And it sounds good on the surface. But when it comes to managing different personalities in the household, man, it takes a special type of person to be able to do that. Okay.
So you answered my next question as well about the open relationship part.
Oops, my bad.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I have another way of asking it now.
Okay.
I have another question. So I've seen this happen. It was a guy who was saying that he would rather be in an open relationship, but when he was approached to be in an open relationship with this woman, he turned it down because he said that he really likes her and he can't see himself sharing her. Why? I feel like well, to me, I feel like he turned it down because it wasn't him presenting it. And it almost came off as like a control issue, kind of. Is that why most men shy away from it when they're asked about it? But when they're the ones asking, everything's supposed to be okay and the woman is supposed to agree with it.
Exactly. That's pretty much what it is. A lot of guys, we just can't stand the thought of someone we're with being with someone else. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so even though we may feel like we can play the field and be in an open relationship and handle all these multiple people, in the back of our minds, the thought of a woman doing the same kind of bothers us. Okay. And so because of that, I think that is really difficult for someone to truly say they're okay with an open relation, as far as a guy is concerned, to truly say that they're open to it, because once he starts caring about that woman, he's going to be caring about what she's doing and who she's doing it with. And once he gets that vision in his head that some other guy is pleasing his woman, it's gonna have some type of impact on him. So I've met some guys who have tried it, and it all kind of ends up the same way. Either maybe she got feelings and wanted to stop doing it, or he got feelings. But in most cases I've seen, from about the 3 guys I can think of off the top of my head, 2 of them wanted to be committed, and they changed their mind about the situation because they just couldn't bear her calling her on a Friday night and she had something to do.
Oh, it's just amazing to me how the conversation changes up if a woman presents it. Like, how can I say this? Well, I have been asked to be in an open relationship before.
Okay.
And I don't even remember my response to it. I don't know if I was okay with it because I viewed it as, okay, we're together here and he ain't got to worry about you no more. Okay, that's fine. I didn't view it as, okay, we're dating, you're dating her, then I can go date this person too. Because most of the time when I'm dating someone, that's where my focus is.
Right.
So I wasn't really thinking along the lines of that. And I was like, okay, I think that's what I said now. I don't remember my exact words, but I know it was something like, okay. So that means I really don't have to deal with you saying that. So now this is the tricky part. The person that he was with was not aware of this arrangement. And that's when, like, me and this person, we haven't really talked anymore after that message came through. And I want to say it's about 2-3 weeks because I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just, whatever. I started receiving messages about, I see you've been talking to this person. I'm like, baby, back up. I know nothing about this now. You know, I wasn't going to go into detail because I don't like to do all of that with women and go over this and that. Like, look, I'm out of it. It's not my problem. I ain't talked to this person in this amount of time. You know, whatever your issue is with them, you need to go take it up with them, and I'll leave it alone. Now, I did confront him and say, look, you wanted to set up this little agreement. You needed to make sure all parties were aware. Like, I'm glad I didn't continue to converse with this person on a day-to-day basis or set up anything for where we would hang out or whatever. But I would have been in a world of mess. Like, what am I trying to get at? Is this something
But what you're describing, from that example, what you're describing wasn't him asking for an open relationship. He was trying to find a side piece, because an open relationship means that everyone knows, that everyone can do their thing. But if only one person knows, then that person is secondary to what he really had, which was a relationship with the other person. So I don't even consider that being an open relationship, because the other person should have been aware.
Okay. Good. Because that threw me for a loop right there. I was like, now how in the world is this? Okay,
yeah, that's some reality show. That's some reality show drama right there. So,
okay.
yeah, your podcast would have been good that next time around. You had so much to talk about. Oh, you would have been discussing car chases and ducking up from Walmart and all this stuff.
Now I have some stories like that now. I just, it's just safely putting it out there without upsetting anybody. Oh my goodness. So I don't want to get all up in your business.
Okay.
But have you as a man sometimes thought about having multiple wives or an open relationship where you cater to more than just one woman?
I've never thought about multiple wives seriously. I mean, guys have joked about it, but not seriously. As far as an open relationship, I would say that I can't say that I've been in an open relationship before. I've had a casual relationship with someone you may go out with occasionally. There may be some physical intimacy, but you're really not committed. But there was no one else. It was just that person every now and then. So I've never been in an open relationship. And I can't say that I've ever desired one, because normally if I'm going out with someone that I really like, is to try to have something with that person. And I just never thought about just trying to spread my seeds, so to speak, for lack of a better term.
Okay. Now I'm starting to feel like social media is putting in men's head that they can do this, or they should be more like this, have this woman here and that woman there, or have them all come together. Because a lot of men, I feel like, think just like you. Because they want stability too. They want that comforting person there. They don't want to be jumping from house to house and from woman to woman.
For the most part, yeah. Guys do enjoy stability, which is why even guys who may cheat, they still want that woman at home that they can count on for whatever emotional or physical or whatever they're looking for. They want that one constant, even if they decide to cheat. So guys do like stability. It's just that some guys don't value it the way that they should. They don't appreciate what they have at home. Social media makes you always think that you're one inbox message away from something else. And it always looks good on the surface, but like they say, the grass is greener where you decide to water it. And so a lot of people just need to appreciate what they have at home and cultivate that relationship instead.
All right. Well, let me ask you this, and we're going to wrap this thing on up.
Okay.
Do you think men that cheat still love their significant other?
Ooh, that's like the toughest question to answer right there. That is tough. Okay. I try to be a logical thinker. I'm a Scorpio, so I try to be a logical thinker. So looking at that question logically, if you love someone, you will not do anything to hurt them, period. If you know it brings them pain, you're not going to do it, okay? And now, of course, there are different types of love. You can love someone like you love your neighbor. You can love someone like you love a cousin. But a significant other or a spouse is a different type of love. So to say you love that person means that you will not hurt them in the least. Now, some guys who cheat may not have the intention of cheating at first. They're kind of opportunistic. Something just fell in their lap and they say, well, hey, I'm going to make this layup right here and hopefully nothing becomes of it. And so they may not seem as bad as a person who's just constantly trying to flip his phone over, hide his text, or cover his phone up and all that stuff. So there are degrees to it. But anytime you cheat on your significant other, to turn around and tell them that you love them almost just seems just like you're flat out lying.
Right.
Okay. And yeah, you may still have feelings. You may have regret. And you may seriously be remorseful for what you did. But once you commit that act, I mean, how can you truly say you love someone when you did something that you know hurts them?
That's very true.
That's my logical answer, from.
I'm going to have to ask one more person this too, because that was a good question right there. I'm going to have to see if their answer sounds a little bit like yours.
That's a tough one. Ask a man that watch his brain lock up. That's rough.
Well, I enjoyed this. I thank you so much for coming. You had some great points. Like, I'm going to have to go back and listen to this again and find the great points that I want to highlight at the beginning. So, closing this up, do you have any words of encouragement or anything that you want to tell the guests? And you can also take this time to tell them all your platforms and stuff and where they can find you.
Yes, thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me into your world. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate it. And I think a lot of you and your show. And not only are, you representing Mississippi, but I think you represent the women very well. So, but as far as final words on everything, for guys who are struggling with image, just be yourself and be confident. That's the main thing. Be confident. It doesn't matter how you look or anything. Just show that you're in control of your life. Okay? Be yourself. If you know how to treat women, it really doesn't matter what you look like for the most part. A lot of women are attracted to how they feel around a man more so than the man himself, if I can speak for women, I guess. I mean, I know a lot of dudes who are 6 feet tall and in good shape, but they can't keep a woman's attention, because they lack something. And it's that confidence. That confidence is what makes a woman hang on your every word. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about game. I'm talking about having an aura, what you project. Some guys project charm. Some guys project intelligence. Some guys project security, and so on and so on. So what you give will allow people to see you in a different light other than your physicality, because I'm a big guy. Like I said, I'm 5'6". I'm a big guy and everything, but don't let the waistline fool you. I'm that dude. And as long as I feel that way, then I can't say as long as I feel that way. I felt that way for most of my life. I've never had a problem getting dates. It doesn't mean that I always get the woman that I want, that I may see in the bar or something like that, but it doesn't stop me from going up and trying, to approach her. And so just do your thing, fellas, and just understand that it's okay if you're not what society considers the ideal type, because there's always someone who's going to appreciate you and what you bring to the table. Then as far as the whole vulnerability thing, you have to know how to speak to someone. It doesn't matter who it is. Guys, you should not come down on your partners for being vulnerable. You need to help them, because if someone thinks enough of you to share or break down in front of you, you need to respect that and appreciate that you're special enough for them to show that side. And you need to protect them and build them back up so they can take on whatever the situation may be. And so that's something that I think guys need to remember. And women, don't make fun of guys if you think they're less than an ideal man, or they may not be as mentally strong as you prefer them to be, because you don't know what a person goes through. You don't understand how a person may have gone through something before they showed up at your doorstep. And so, respect that and just allow them an opportunity to vent if that's something they need to do. But as far as where to find me, you can find the Talk to Q radio show at talktoq.com. I'm on Twitter and IG at Talk to Q. You can just Google the Talk to Q radio show and all of my venues will pop up: Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts. And it's a show that allows people to come in and rant about whatever the trending topic may be, get things off your chest, a place to vent. Like I say, it's important to vent. And I've had Ashley on the show, interviewed her. She was wonderful. It was a great show. And I do a live call-in show where people can call in and talk about whatever topic we're discussing that evening and get things off their chest. So go to talktoq.com and be a part of the T2Q family.
Yes. All right. Well, you guys, that wraps up today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have another special guest coming up next week, so you don't want to miss it. Thank you so much. Bye.